All right. So, this is all composed of, these are boxes. Everything you see here is a box, with the exception of these objects, which are, by and large, cylinders that are made to look like other things. That right there is a box. This thing right here is a box. That's a box. This is a box. That's a box. Each of these things is boxes. That's a box there, and so forth. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the island over here. See? See where I am? That's all the building stuff over there. And then I'm going to cook up my editor. That's Alt-E. And then I'm going to roll over with my arrows. I'm on objects right now. I'm going to roll over to wall. And I'm going to put this to a 32 grid, which you will learn how to do. And all I'm going to do is pick up one of my walls here and kind of scoot over to the island side and put my wall down. So I have a wall, you can see that right there. I have a wall there, and that is what the domain looks like. Now, what I'm going to do, this is a wall of cement 11, and it's a single wall, which I want. I'll talk about other walls besides that later. That is number 20. So that's domain number 20. Well, I can't use that again. I've already used it. So I'm going to right-click on the 20, not on the -1 demo, but on the 20. And it comes up here. This is an R box, 256 under 224. All right, and so I'm going to insert this. I just pressed my insert button on my keyboard with my left middle finger, with my right hand still on my mouse. Now it says here domain 30, num12. All right, I'm going to take off the num12 here. Never mind how that's done. We'll talk about that. You don't have to do that, but it's just easier for me, so you don't get confused. So domain 30. And I'm going to go back to walls, which is right arrow 1 unit. See? Domain wall, domain wall, domain wall, domain wall. So the domain is 30. The wall is not marked 20. I click in. I go over here, mouse over to this, and I either click in with my left mouse or I can use my spacebar. Puts me in there. Delete. 30, enter. Now it's a domain 30 box. And now I'm going to, before I invoke it, I'm going to change these heights. I don't want those heights. I want something lower. And I don't want the cement on the bottom. I want the cement on the top. Cement 11. The reason I don't want it on the bottom is because it's going to be sitting on the ground. If it's sitting on the ground, you don't want a conflicting texture, so you want to take that texture off the ground side, the bottom floor texture side. But you do want the ceiling to have it because the top of the box should have this. Now, this is going to be at 0, and this is going to be at 48. So it's going to go all the way to the ground. It's going to come up 48 units, about to here. Okay, about to a waist. So let's see what that does. There it is. Right there. See it? Not quite sure waist, I have to do hips. That is what we just made. Now if I want to raise that box up, 128, 64, now it's off the ground, so I do need that cement underneath. There it is. Now it has some things still printed there that'll survive like that until I renew. So what I'll do, you'll learn how to do this. I'll renew this so that it reloads. I'll go back over to my island here, and by golly, there's my nice, fresh new block right there. See? There's the ceiling texture on the top there, and then underneath is the floor texture. Now let's raise that even further. So 256 by 128, so we'll be able to get underneath it like this. So now, I know this looks awful fast. I'm trying to give you this real quick comprehensive picture here. So here underneath it, there's, well, you still can't see underneath there, right? So at 128, it still doesn't really need a texture underneath, but at the same time, now, to get back to where I was working, I go to my domains area and I hit my up arrow once and my C button, and that centers me right where I was working. So that's my last domain working, domain 30, see? Now, let's bring this up even further to 256, and we'll bring this top one up to 384. These numbers you will learn. Way up there. Now I'm going to see, hopefully that worked. Oh, it did. There it is, up in the sky. See it up there? So that's that same cube, and that's how you can move. Now, there are other ways to move a cube, but this is the best way to move it, which is this with the solid numbers. And so you can build from this cube, you can build virtually anything you want to put together. And as I said, you can ceiling height of 384. And so let's take a look at that now. This is a real tall monolithic. There it is. Wow, that's big now. That's the same cube, same box rather. But now we've made this monumental thing out of it, see? So you could turn this into Stonehenge type stuff right there. Okay? And so it's all, the secret of that is all in the domain. The domain is what tells you here what the ceiling height is and what the floor height is. In this case, 384 is the top and 0 is the bottom. So it's 384 high, and it's 128 wide and 256 deep, if that helps you any. That's right here, 128 this way, 256 this way, and 384 straight up. We're looking down at it on this thing here. So here's the walls. They're blue, and you can light them up with your mouse. And you can move this out like this. Watch this. You can move this out like that. And you can bring this, let's see, bring this up. I'll bring this down and make this 64. Here we go. Now this is real interesting because this is an idea for how malleable this material is, how it works. That's the same block. See it? It's exactly the same block. Only I've done some things to it. I put it on the ground, I moved it out this way, pulled it out this way, squashed it down this way. And that's all done in the editor with a combination of the domain, well, mostly the domain, and the wall. So here's the wall, and I'll squeeze this. Now how I'm moving these is by using my right. This is what you learned yesterday. You learned the first thing, is to move this around, right? Now in walls, you can do the same thing. You can move your walls around. And so this becomes a garden wall. Take a look and see. It's a long, thin garden wall. See? Like that. Now that's only in this one texture. Of course, I'm not going to confuse you with that. I don't want to throw those things in. But if I change the textures, this could be a brick wall, or it could be a moss wall, or it could be a hedge. And it has, as you see, it has collision. So it's real. See? These are the same as what you're seeing there. These walls here are the same as what you're seeing right here. That's the same deal. That's how you make a box. And Claude's going to work with you on how to make this and And you'll get lots and lots of help and instruction and guidance and all kinds of things, and lots of folks who are able to help you with this thing. So that's how you do it. And this is the same, that's a box, and right here, this is the same kind of box, only it's colored differently and shaped differently and sized differently, and that's a box. See? All these things, even the roof here is a box. And the floor, the thing on which you're standing is a box. This thing here is a box as well. So, the world is made of boxes. And even these flat appearing carpets are not flat at all. They're very thin boxes. They're only 2 units high, but they are boxes. And these windows are boxes. They made the rest of the box is invisible. It doesn't have to be shown. They don't want to see it. So that makes windows. But they're boxes. All this stuff's a box. Everything's a box. Okay? There you go.
Okay.